Today we are going to install the latest version of Debian version 12 Bookworm on a hypervisor, and I'm going to use VMware Workstation Pro in this case. And Debian is a completely free open source operating system. It's very popular, especially among sysadmins and for server installations. And that is because it's super stable, and it has a bit of a slower update cycle. So if you really want a stable environment, I can really recommend Debian. And if you know about Ubuntu, it's actually a fork out of Debian. So it's basically Debian with some extra on it, extra features, and a bit of a faster update cycle. And also it's supported. You can buy support from a company named Canonical. So if you don't need that, I would recommend Debian. And also you can try to start out with Debian, if everything is working as intended. There's really no need to install the extra fluff that comes with Ubuntu.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Alright, so we are at debian.org, and we can see a big download button on the bottom right. And if we hover over it, we can actually see that that gets us to an ISO file. So let's download that one. It's not particularly large in size, about 600 megabytes. So yeah, let's just wait a bit. No need to really speed things up here. This will go in my download folder, so I can minimize the browser, or even, we can close it now. And here we are at the VMware Workstation Pro, and if you need a setup like mine, you can watch a video I have. I showed you how to get one completely for free, because now when Broadcom acquired VMware, they actually made the Pro version free, so you can get one for free, no key included or any shenanigans. Anyway, let's create a new VM for this. For the Debian installation. So I will go new virtual machine, and here we can go with typical, that's okay. And let's select the ISO file, and here we have downloads, Debian, and it detected Debian 12 64 bits, so yeah, that's good. It will get some extra parameters set when it actually can connect or detect the operating system. Let's go with next, and I can just go with Debian 12 in my location and my path, and the same for the name, that's okay. We go with next. This is just going to be a test system, so sure, 20 gigs of hard drive is fine. I actually don't want to split into multiple files, so just do a single file and hit next. But we do want to customize the hardware a bit. So here we press customize. The memory, sure, 2 gigs should actually be okay. Processors, dual core 2, that's fine. And here we can see that we are using the ISO file that we downloaded. Network adapter, of course, depends a bit on your setup, on your network setup, but we can take a look at how our virtual network is actually set up, and then decide how to connect this VM. The USB is really not needed. Sound card, I'm not considered to connect that, and no accelerated 3D graphics, that's fine. So network is now set to NAT. Basically what that does is that it uses a virtual network switch that my physical PC is creating, and I can get an own subnet for this machine to be on. So let's see how the NAT is set up. I would press finish, and if we go to edit virtual network, we can see that NAT is actually enabled. If we press change settings and yes, we can see how it's connected. So here we have a 10.0.0.0 subnet with a subnet mask of a /24 or a 255 like this. And there's also a DHCP range starting at 200 going to 222. So kind of small range, but that is okay. But usually when we are setting up, for example, a server, we can specify a static IP address also if we want. So in that case, we have to use one that's not within this range, so not between 200 and 222. All right, so the NAT looks fine. Let's go with that for the machine. That's okay. The next step is actually just to power it on. So I will power it on here. And here we are in a setup window. I will maximize, going to full screen here. And here we can see we have graphical installation or just a regular installation and some advanced options and even some extra contrast and speech synthesis. I will go with a common installation, and that is one that says only install. You can go with the graphical if you want, and then you can also use your mouse, but let's go with the one that is the default one, and that is the install one. Okay, so this is the language for the OS. You can use your up and down arrows, and you hit enter to actually select what you want. So I will hit enter for English. And here we can see the location. And yeah, I'm actually not located in any of these options here. So I will press other. Let's see what we get now. And I am in Europe. And here we have maybe Sweden, hence the name, the Swedish Sysadmin. I'm actually from Sweden. You can probably tell by the accent also. And we can configure some locales here, English US UTF-8. Sure, let's go with that to begin with. And we can configure the keyboard, and I actually got a Swedish keyboard, so I'm gonna check if that is available, and it is. So I get all my funky Ö characters. Alright, so it loads up some components here. And we are just going to wait a bit. It's detecting the network. Let's see what it finds. It's attempting IPv6 configuration. So let's see if that's configured. And yeah, network configured actually is successful. Here we can enter a host name for it. Let's just call it Debian 12. Why not? And I go with the down arrow, hit enter to continue. Domain name, I don't have any domain on this network, so I will just go for continue. But of course, if you have, for example, test.lab, you just type it in here and it will try to connect to the domain. Continue here. All right, so here we can actually specify the password for the root account. And if you just continue here and not specify, you will actually not have a root account. Then you will just elevate your prompt with the sudo command. But I do want an account to work with, a root account, so I will put in a password here. And continue. And I will enter it again. And continue. And here we can set up user and the password if we want some extra ones. And sure, why not? I will go with TSS. Continue. Username for the account is also TSS. It will use my name. And here we set up a password for this account. Continue. And again. And continue. So now it's gonna load some extra options for us, and this is for the partitioning of our disk. And if you remember in the beginning when we created the VM, we did 20 gigabyte, and I want to use the whole disk. There's really no need for an LVM or an encrypted LVM, so I will just go with guided, use entire disk. And after that, I will select the disk, and here we can see it finds it 21 gigabytes from the VMware. So there's no risk of formatting any other disks here. And it's actually not formatting right away, so we will just select this one. Here we can see all files in one partition. We can have a separate home partition if we want to, and we can have a separate home variable and temp partition. But yeah, this really depends on your disk, how you want to have it. But for most cases, it probably is just fine if you have it in the same partition. So I will go with that. And here we can see it will format our partition, and you can see that it's 20 gigs of ext4 format, and the F after the 20.4 and 1.0 is the formatting tag, so it will format this. So we can select finish partitioning and write changes to the disk. So here we type yes, and now it will install. So this will take a while, a couple of minutes, so I will fast forward and see you guys when it's done. Alright, so the installation stopped, and it's asking us for extra places to scan for packages, and that's really no needed. Scan extra installation media, we go with no here, so enter. And here we need to configure the package manager, and this is where to download all the apps you're going to install. Web servers, SSH servers, and yeah, all the extra fluff on top of your operating system. So choose the one that is maybe closest to you. So I will choose Sweden, and here we can see some mirrors that are registered here in Sweden. So debian.org. I don't recognize a lot of these, so I'll go with the default top one, and that is pretty much always a good choice. And here we can specify a proxy. If you need a proxy and know what it is, you can fill it in here, and else you probably don't need to specify it, so just press continue. And here it's configuring the package manager that is actually called apt. And now it will install all the software, so I will fast forward here again. And here we have configuring popularity contest. So this is actually where it can retrieve some data on what packages and what software is really popular among the users. So it can maybe bundle it with Debian in the future. And you can go to popcon.debian.org to see some statistics if you're a statistics nerd, of course. So yeah, here we can choose yes or no. And yeah, why not? We can be in the popularity contest, that's fine. And here we can select some software. And you can see you can move up and down and use the space to select. And this is with the desktop environments. So here you can highlight all the desktops you want to install. And I don't want a specific desktop in this case, but I do want a SSH server, so I can remotely connect to this server. You can also install a web server if we want that, but we can do that later on. So I would continue like this without a desktop environment. If you choose the desktop environment, the installation will be quite a lot longer, and you will have a lot of packages to install. but just installing this base command line version of the system goes extremely fast actually. So now it's installing the bootloader, and yeah, I actually want to install the bootloader on this primary device, and this is okay because we don't want to set up any dual boot or anything like that, so we go with yes here. So here it's asking us about the grub bootloader. It needs to install it somewhere, and yeah, we are not going to specify it manually. We can install it where it says dev SDA and just hit enter. So now it's finishing the installation. It's recognizing that we are using VMware, so it installs some VMware tools for us. Yeah, this takes a while, so let's fast forward again. Okay, so finish the installation. It says the installation is complete and it's time to remove the installation media and reboot the system. So let's do that. We are going to exit out of this full screen. Let's see, like this. And here we have the Debian and removable device. Let's see. Sometimes it actually does this automatically. So yeah, it's not connected anymore. And we can just go with continue. And it will actually boot into the Debian system. Let's go with full screen again. It boots automatically after a couple of seconds. And all right, here we can see Debian 12, that is the hostname, and we are at the login prompt. So we can log in with one of the two accounts that we created. If you remember, we did the root account and we did account named TSS. So we can log in with a root account. It's pretty good to check that we can actually access the root account. And yeah, no problem at all. We are now at root. So the installation is successful. Let's just check the last couple of stuff to see, for example, the release version. You can type lsb_release-a, and this is indeed Debian 12, codename Bookworm. We can also do an apt update and apt upgrade to update and upgrade the system. And that is if I actually spell apt right. Alright, so now it's actually checking for all the packages that are installed, and here we can see 0 to upgrade, 0 installed. And if we type IPA, we can see that we probably got a DHCP address in the range 200 to 220, and indeed we did get an IP address. Hard time finding it, but I can also show you how to do a grep. We can do for a 24 subnet. So there you can see the IP address a bit easier. So 10.0.0. Yeah, we got 208. Alright guys, I think that's enough for Debian installation for today. Hopefully you learned something. Then please like the video, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Take care guys, bye bye.